A broken road does not understand Igbo. It will not maim the Fulani and let the rest of us go. The accident it will cause will take our lives, but when the vehicle somersaults, it breaks our bones. We can come together, we can have this sense of purpose, we can have this sense of community, this sense of togetherness that is lacking currently in our world to cure all forms of anxiety and to better the world. You can speak Nupe till your morning comes. You do not build libraries in our public schools. And when a young woman, lies dying in childbirth, your fluency in Ijo will not save her life. We shouldn't just be quiet. As many as are the persons and the people trying to seek for redemption, seek for progress in our world, we ought to support them. For Christian or Muslim, it makes no difference when you are being driven around in an ambulance from hospital to hospital in search of oxygen. Northerner or Southerner, you will die suffocating. For as many persons out there seeking for purpose, seeking for understanding, seeking for peace, we must support them. For as many persons seeking for growth, seeking for opportunities to triumph and to make a mark for themselves, we must support them. For as many persons out there trying to see that the world becomes a better place, we must cheer them up. You will die of causes easily preventable, like no fuel for police to respond to your distress call, no water, no light, no nurses, no jobs. Nothing kills us efficiently as bad governance. Dike Chukwumerije for me is one of those people. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is one of those people. A whole lot of people out there, Ken Saro-Wiwa gave up his life for this struggle. A whole lot of persons have gone down the road. Onyeka Onwenu is dead now. She's not lived to see, to eat that indeed Nigeria becomes better. I remember that popular documentary. And she's blessed us with beautiful music, beautiful songs, beautiful things we get to talk about her. There's too much beauty in one soul. I've not seen it so much. Too much beauty in one person. Too much brains in one particular individual. To such as these persons, we pray that our country be blessed with their type. We can do it. You can do it. We can all become better people. We can all grow. We can all strive, become better. This is the only way we can do it. Today we are going to be talking about Nigeria. We're going to be looking into the intricacies of what has led to the current protests in Nigeria and how the events that have led to it have also come to our notice and come to the forefront of affairs. Who are Nigerians? Where is Nigeria? Nigerians are from Nigeria. And where is Nigeria? Nigeria is in Africa, south of the Sahara. A whole lot has been going on in recent times. We woke up to the news of the death of the musical icon, an activist, and a whole lot of other things. Onyeka Onwenu. This is a woman that graced our childhood. This is a woman that spoke to the issues that have seen to it that Nigeria has refused to, ordinarily make progress beyond where it is at the moment. It is to this woman we pay tribute today and, wish that her soul continue to rest in peace in the great beyond. But beyond this, we get to see the fact that as many persons who have struggled in the past to see to it that Nigeria becomes a better place, some of them don't get to see this in their lifetime. Some of them don't get to experience the importance of indeed fighting for a just society, and thereafter get to see the benefit of such a fight, of such a concern. This is the case of Onyeka Onwenu, is the case of Chinua Achebe, is the case of a whole lot of other persons who have gone before us, fighting for a just cause. Is the case of Amilcar Cabral, is the case of Kenneth Kaunda, is the case of Nelson Mandela, and the increasing level of xenophobia in South Africa. The recent case being that of the pageantry and the play staged down there. There's a whole lot of problems emanating from the African continent, not without the influence of the West, but also not without support also from our own brothers and sisters to make sure and to see that such is the case. It is the case that we have continually told ourselves, we are the Trinity. And we are the Trinity in what sense? That we don't want to be understood. Because just like the Trinity, if you try to understand it, if St. Augustine, the African saint, and the Catholic theologian and philosopher, is known to have said, if you can understand it, then that is not God. And also, increasingly, Africa and by extension, Nigeria is trying to tell us that if you can understand Nigeria, then that is not Nigeria. If you can understand her politics, if you can understand her lifestyle, then that is not Nigeria. Then that is not what you ordinarily should be doing. But there is a guy, there's a man, a poet, a lawyer, a writer, and a performance poet who has come down to us as a gift from the great beyond, and his name is Dike Chukwumerije. In response to all the difficulties we get to experience as a country, as a people, as a nation, Dike comes down as a poet that speaks to the common man, that speaks to the everyday situation of life, that speaks to the core of the Nigerian problem, which is embedded intricately in the politics of the nation. And a whole lot of persons, youths precisely, tend to shy away from politics and get to say politics is a boring stuff, it's a dirty game and all that. It is something that many persons have come to accept, that politics is just about personal interest and the likes of that. But beyond all of this, politics is a system of affairs that ordinarily should be for the benefit of the masses, for the good governance of the people. It gets to claim, more so in a democratic society. So what has Dike done? Dike has written a poem over a decade now, and the poem is titled "Fix the Politics." In this poem, he gets to talk about the issues in the country. He gets to talk about what needs to be done, what must be done to see to it that Nigeria gets better. And how can Nigeria get better? Dike maintains that such can only be possible if we fix the politics. If we look at the core issues of the country, if we look at the core problems in the country and try to fix it, as normal humans should ordinarily do. If there is a problem, well articulated and well stated, answers can be sorted out for it, no matter how long. Dike believes that the problems in the country can be solved by fixing the politics. I believe that too. I don't know about you. A broken road does not understand Igbo. It will not maim the Fulani and let the rest of us go. The accident it will cause will take our lives, for when a vehicle somersaults, it breaks our bones. So, you can speak Nupe till your morning comes. It will not build libraries in our public schools. And when a young woman, lies dying in childbirth, your fluency in Ijo will not save her life. For Christian or Muslim, it makes no difference when you are being driven around in an ambulance from hospital to hospital in search of oxygen. Northerner or Southerner, you will die suffocating. You will die of causes easily preventable, like no fuel for police to respond to your distress call. No water, no light, no nurses, no jobs. Nothing kills as efficiently as bad governance. As politicians in office who do not pay salaries, whose response to bad road is bigger SUVs, who set up committees and publish white papers, presiding over affairs that never improve. Politicians in jeeps with minds in London, perpetual latecomers to every meeting, irritated by anyone with a different opinion, who see the people as a throne to sit on. Politicians in power who personalize the state, who criminalize criticism and terrorize dissent. Nothing kills as efficiently as a politician in high office with low mentality. For you see, Boko Haram can burn down the classroom, but a politician can cripple the entire school system, can fold up power stations and put in his briefcase, can roll up the railways and keep in his house. Politicians can file away our seaports away in a drawer, can cripple all our farms with no fertilizers. No matter the passion you bring to your startup, government can kill it with just one pronouncement. And no degree you hold, no grammar you speak, no decision you make to just face your work, no protest you stage can save you from those elected to make and enforce our laws. The way they see things is a world around you, for you cannot drive faster than the person driving you. No matter your education, qualification, or achievement, you're subject to the mentality of those in government. Politicians in office hold the farm and the knife. For to elect is to give the elected the power over life. Which child will remain a marjorie or become someone better? These things are in the hands of those in power. Politicians in office who hold the farm and the seed, for to elect is to give the elected the power to decide whether security operatives can murder citizens and walk away free. These things are in the hands of those who run the country. So if you're tired of it all, then strike at its roots. If you're tired of needing a letter from a senator to get a job, if you're tired of this shame, then fix the politics. So if you're tired of it all, then strike at its roots. If you're tired of needing a letter from a senator to get a job, if you're tired of seeing your hustles frustrated by public policies, if you're tired of insecurity, then fix the politics. If you are tired of the hunger in our streets, if you are tired of the number of children who die before age 5, if you are tired of the dreams suffocated in our youth, if you are tired of this shame, then fix the politics. For until they are there in public office, men and women with a heart for public service, no tribe, no tongue, just commitment to build a functional nation that fills us all with pride. Until they are there in the highest office, men and women with a heart for selfless service, no region, no religion, just commitment to nation. Until we elect them, we labor in vain. Until we elect people like this, we labor in vain. Until we listen to Dike Chukwumerije, we labor in vain. Until we begin to put his philosophy of a detribalized Nigeria in place, we labor in vain. Until we begin to look at things how they ordinarily were supposed to be looked at. How are things ordinarily supposed to be looked at? Things are ordinarily supposed to be looked at from a very, very interesting standpoint. Things like what? We coming to tell ourselves that the Yorubas are not the problems of Nigeria. The Igbos are not the problems of Nigeria. The Hausas are not the problems of Nigeria. The Jaws are not the problems of Nigeria. The people from Obudu are not the problems of Nigeria. Those from Boki, those from Rivers, those from Asaba, those far-flung in Kogi, those from different ethnic groups are not the problems of Nigeria. The problem with and of Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. Leadership on many fronts. Leadership in our personal lives, but leadership, first and foremost, in the affairs of the people, in the life of Nigerians, in what matters, in what should matter, in the things that ordinarily should be, in the things that should be given priority, in the things that Nigerians should take pride in, things like education, things like infrastructure, things like agriculture, things like peace, things like unity, things like harmony amongst ourselves. These things are the things that really matter, but they are the things we don't really give attention to. We don't pay attention to them. We tell ourselves that we are different. We tell ourselves we are so different than ordinarily is the case. We tell ourselves that we are not the same. Deep down within us, we know this is not true, but we still go on with the lies in our life and continue to tell ourselves these stories. Dike Chukwumerije again maintains that indeed no culture is older than being human. Whether you're from America, whether you're from Europe, whether you're from the Asian world, whether you're from the Middle East, whether you're an African, whether you're an Arab, whether you are an Israeli or a Palestinian or Ukrainian, whether you're a Syrian, whether you're from Turkey, all these really don't matter, because deep down, no culture is older than being human. And that's the truth Dike maintains. Until we accept this, we are going to crumble, for the same things that bind us can drive us apart. He maintains in his poem, The Wall and the Bridge, that the wall and the bridge are both in our hearts, are both in the heart. It is our duty to get to decipher what we must decipher. It is our duty to stand up to the true test of, to the true test of what we ought to do, to the true test of what we must do as a people. If we should go back to to Chinua Achebe's The Trouble with Nigeria, we get to see him clearly point this out. Him clearly stating that the problem with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. A failure of leadership on many fronts. A failure of leadership on our personal life and on the grand scale of affairs, of politics, of the government. And it's a thing that we have to pay keen attention to. It's a thing we ought to really, really give the necessary attention we must give to that if we must indeed move forward. This is what he has to say. The trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. There is nothing basically wrong with the Nigerian character. There's nothing wrong with the Nigerian land or climate or water or air or anything else. The Nigerian problem is the unwillingness or inability of its leaders to rise to the responsibility to the challenge of personal example, which are the hallmarks of true leadership. On the morning after Murtala Mohammed seized power in July 1975, public servants in Lagos were found on seats at 7:30 in the morning. Even the go-slow traffic that had defeated every solution and defied every regime vanished overnight from the streets. Why? The new ruler's reputation for ruthlessness was sufficient to transform in the course of only one night the style and habit of Nigeria's unruly capital. That the character of one man could establish that quantum change in a people's social behavior was nothing less than miraculous. But it shows that social miracles can happen. We know at last that that transformation was short-lived. It had begun to fade even before the tragic assassination of Murtala Mohammed. In the final analysis, a leader's no-nonsense reputation might induce a favorable climate, but in order to effect lasting change, it must be followed up with a radical program of social and economic reorganization, or at least a well-conceived and consistent agenda of reform, which Nigeria stood and stands in dear need of. This is Chinua Achebe speaking in the 80s. He tried dabbling into politics, by the influence of Aminu Kano and the likes of that. And he saw the level of corruption firsthand in Nigeria and in the political landscape. And little or nothing has changed ever since then. Names have changed, people have changed hands. We've had the military come and go. We've had we're now in a republic where we want to claim to be democratic enough, but has a whole lot changed in the way we are governing, the way we get to rule ourselves and the likes of that? I don't think so. Nothing has given me the conviction enough to believe that things have changed. We've just had people change their name. If you get to read the Paradise for Margot, you get to see, the struggles of the likes of, Nuhu Ribadu. But then, where is Nuhu today? After his famous acclaim of if you fight corruption, corruption fights back. Where is he? He's become a politician and he's found himself amongst the ruling class. And the same people he criticized years ago as being corrupt, from Akpabio to you name it. And here we are. They're all frolicking with themselves as the bad guys. That is Nigeria for you. Whether he got defeated or whether he wants to fight the system from inside or whether he wants to make progress from within, is still a thing he's left with to get to tell us. But nothing has given us the conviction to believe that, Nuhu is fighting the corruption he was known to have fought in the early 2000s until he was ousted out of office and the likes of that. We might be proven wrong, but as data and statistics get to show in the present moment and in the current times, we don't see anything telling us a different situation here. This particular pamphlet, I don't want to call it a book, it's quite small, it's a book anyways, goes to tell us what Nigeria actually is going through at the moment. Here Achebe continues by saying, I am not here recommending ruthlessness as a necessary qualification for Nigerian leadership. Quite on the contrary, what I am saying is that Nigeria is not beyond change. I am saying that Nigeria can change today if it discovers leaders who have the will, the ability, and the vision. Such people are rare in any time or place, but it is the duty of enlightened citizens to lead the way in their discovery and to create an atmosphere conducive to their emergence. If this conscious effort is not made, good leaders, like good money, will be driven out by bad. Where is the lie here? Chinua Achebe didn't live to see P2B contest for the presidency of the country, but he lived to see him govern his own state, Anambra State, and to the best of his abilities and to the best of his knowledge and his capacity and intention, P2B really did a whole lot in Anambra. But it's unfortunate Nigeria has been construed to be a country of building and physical structures. But then ideologies and ideas indeed get to work in the movie Dead Poet Society. We get to hear the famous phrase, ideas indeed change the world. Indeed, ideas change the world. Ideas change the world. Cicero was quick to have said, there's nothing absurd enough for a philosopher not to be able to say. Unfortunately, also, P2B is a philosopher, but not just that, he's a good man. Amongst the crop of politicians we have, if you must give him attack from the negative, you can rightly say P2B is a lesser evil I don't see him as an evil man. He's not an evil man. He has not done anything to equate him that. But if you are to look at the Nigerian political climate, you want to join all the guys in one wagon, you get to give Peter Obi his credit. Man has come a long way. Man has done a whole lot of things. The man is still trying and he's still being attacked. And just like Nihu Ribadu said in his TED talk, if you fight corruption, corruption fights back and even harder. That is what we see. The attacks coming from Reno Omokri, the attacks coming from Bayo Nonuga, all the attacks coming from all quarters of different walks of life, from Nsima and all that, just goes a long way to tell you that indeed Nigeria stands in dear need of true leaders. Not leaders who want to take it by force, not leaders who want to be rogues, not leaders who just want to do whatsoever they want to do. Leaders indeed who want to serve the people, leaders who want to stand for the right cause of the people. And Achebe continues, whenever two Nigerians meet, their conversation will sooner or later slide into a litany of our national deficiencies. The trouble with Nigeria has become the subject of our small talk, in much the same way as the weather is for the English. But there is a great danger in consigning a life and death issue to the daily routine of small talk. No one can do much about the weather. We must accept it and live with it or under it. I think science has also come to, give levels of augmentation to, we see technologies making it possible to live in winter and then to also work and not look at them as waste months as they were looked at in the ancient times and in the Middle Ages. He continued, he said, no one can do much about the weather, which a whole lot of persons are doing now. But national bad habits are a different matter. We resign ourselves to them at our own peril. We resign to them at our own peril. A thing we are doing, our national bad habits, we are resigning to them greatly. It's a whole lot. And he goes ahead to talk about the aim of the book. The aim of this booklet is to challenge such resignation. It calls on all thoughtful Nigerians to rise up today and reject those habits which cripple our aspiration and inhibit our chances of becoming a modern and attractive country. Nigeria has many thoughtful men and women of conscience, a large number of talented people too. He continues by asking, why is it then that all these patriots make so little impact on the life of our nation? Why is it that our corruption, gross iniquity, our noisy vulgarity, our selfishness, our ineptitude seem so much stronger than the good influences at work in our society? Why do the good among us seem so helpless while the worst are full of vile energy? I believe that Nigeria is a nation favored by providence. I believe there are individuals as well as nations who, on account of peculiar gifts and circumstances, are commandeered by history to facilitate mankind's advancement. He continues, Nigeria is such a nation. The vast human and material world with which she is endowed bestows on her a role in Africa and the world which no one else can assume or fulfill. The fear that should nightly haunt our leaders, but does not, is that they may already have betrayed irretrievably Nigeria's high destiny. The countless billions that a generous providence poured into our nation coffers in the last years would have been enough to launch this nation into the middle rank of developed nations and transform the lives of our poor and needy. But what have we done with it? Stolen and salted away by people in power and their accomplices, squandered in uncontrolled importations of all kinds of useless consumer merchandise from every corner of the globe, embezzled through inflated contracts to an increasing army of party loyalists who have neither the desire nor the competence to execute their contracts, consumed in the escalating salaries of a grossly overstaffed and unproductive public service, and so on ad infinitum. I don't see any lie here, my people. I don't see any lie. Achebe is a prophet. Achebe remains a prophet for all of us to listen to. A prophet whose voice would not be quenched. A voice would go down in history as one voice, never to be redundant, until we begin to do what we ordinarily have to do as a people. That is what has led us to this particular place where we are talking about the protest today, my people. That is what has led to us coming down to this particular scale of events and telling ourselves, we want to protest, we want to do what we have to do. And we have to do what we have to do for the country to get to work. The protest that is being organized is something to be a welcome development. You cannot beat a child and tell the child how to grow. And to conclude this particular introduction, Achebe asks a very, very important question. Does it ever worry us that history, which neither personal wealth nor power can preempt, will pass terrible judgment on us, pronounce anathema on our names when we have accomplished our betrayal and passed on? We have lost the 20th century. Are we bent on seeing that our children also lose the 21st? God forbid, is how Chinua Achebe concluded. God forbid. God forbid indeed, my people. God forbid indeed that we allow ourselves go down this road. God forbid that we allow things go south, that we allow nepotism to take over our lives, take over the things we get to do. God forbid if we allow tribalism get to take over us. God forbid if we allow a false image of ourselves to drain us and push us down to a place we cannot really tell. God forbid if we continue with this leadership style we get to tell ourselves, this Nigerian leadership style. God forbid if we fail to accept patriotism. God forbid if we continue to promote social injustice and the cult of mediocrity. God forbid if we continue to promote indiscipline and we continue to be indisciplined as a people. God forbid if we continue to tell ourselves that the Igbos are the problems of Nigeria and that the Igbo problem is the problem with the country, because I don't see any problem there. We are diverse enough. We should accept ourselves as who we are. We shouldn't throw away our diversity like Nnamdi Azikiwe will get to tell us. We should understand our differences. We should understand our diversity. We shouldn't throw it away for anything, because in diversity is strength. In Mandela's days, you get to see him make the feast like this, the feast for revolution. But it goes a long way to tell us, if one person stands alone, he is easily bent. If one person gets to stand alone, he is easily crumbled. But if we go as a pack, if we go as a collective, if we go like this, we get to be crumbled. If we go in a pack, we hit harder, we hit further and further. If we go like this, we will bend easily. If we go like this, we will stand strong. We will stand strong and tall. It is so sad that a continent that the likes of Nyerere fought for, the likes of Kwame Nkrumah fought for, within their limited means, within the limited ability of their intellect and capacity and their exposure, down the road less than 100 years, is seeing this gross disservice done to it, both by outsiders and insiders, but being assisted and being aided by insiders. It's so sad to look at what's happening in Kenya. It's so sad to see what's happening in Congo. Despite how you want to appreciate what is happening in Rwanda, you also have to talk about the human rights crisis down there. You also want to talk about a whole lot of things. Is there really freedom of speech in Rwanda? Look at Congo. There's war in Congo. There's a genocide going down. The people are being killed. People are being abused and being told to work in the mines for only God knows how long. Look at, there's war in Sudan. It's not being covered. It's not being talked about. There's a raging tension still going on in Cameroon. You know, there's this idea of dividing the continent too many fronts, and you know, it's like the attacks are like too many. It's just like how Poland was being invaded by Germans from one end and the Soviets from the other end. And tomorrow is the commemoration of the Warsaw Uprising and a whole lot of other things that led to, you know, culminated in the Second World War and that devastating period in time. We are not growing. We are not learning. I've come to accept the fact that we as humans are highly stupid and highly intelligent at the same time, and it is this double Orwellian thinking I've come to accept that has made me come to that conclusion that how stupid can we be? That in the 21st century we want to take offices and we don't want to actually act. We want to be leaders. We want to rule our brothers and sisters. We want to do everything but govern. We want to do everything but lead. We want to do everything than what is expected of us. We want to do everything than what we ought to do. It's not a thing to be proud of. It's not a thing for us to be smiling at. It's not a thing for us to really, really come to terms with. We must, as a matter of fact, harness our God-given talents and opportunities and diversities and come to see to it that we function as a people. The tribe must give way if the nation must grow to its full potential. We ought to change. We cannot remain stagnant if we really want to if you really want to grow, the Igbos say if you really want to appreciate the beauty of the masquerade, you must move with it. As it the dances, you can't understand one place and you really want to understand the rhythms of the masquerade, you must follow it. If it goes this way, you go that way. If it dances this way, you go this way. That is how people get to see to it that life continues to go on. Recently, in the on the official page of the Nobel Prize, I got to see the appreciation Bernard Shaw had to give to the likes of Albert Einstein, but in relation also to men and women who have come down before him, from the likes of Galileo to the likes of Copernicus, and the change in how we get to see the world from a geocentric perspective to a heliocentric perspective, and to a relativist perspective, as we now get to have it, the theory of relativity, and to the attempt made by Stephen Hawking to talk about the theory of time and the theory of everything. I believe if Bernard Shaw was alive when Stephen Hawking came to his full maturity, he also would have given the much needed flowers he needs. This is how a society grows. A society cannot grow when people just decide to be so dogmatic and just stay with a particular thing. We must, as a people, try to grow. We must strive to be better. We must strive to make ends meet. And even if ends don't meet, we ourselves must continue to forge ahead. We must continue to push ahead, my people. We must continue to support as many Nigerians who want to see to it that the country becomes better. You might not like Showore for everything, but you cannot take away the fact that, give it or take, in the last 30 years of his life, he has tried his very best within the capacities and within the understanding of his human limitation to see to it that he proposes what is best for Nigerians. Have he succeeded in everything? No. Did he support Buhari to a great extent? Yes, many Nigerians did. It shows how people can be easily swayed left and right and the likes of that. These are things also we have to look at squarely and see to it that we work at. But on the protest, I think Nigerians should be given their due. Nigerians have suffered too long. Africans have so long been led astray by their brothers and sisters. We're not even talking about the foreign powers here, and don't be deceived. Your brothers and sisters are the ones first and foremost to hold responsible. You voted them into power. Power belongs to the people. Power belongs to the people. That is what we are meant to. That's what we are meant to do. That is what we ordinarily should do. Power belongs to the people. Power belongs to the people. Power belongs to the people, and it shouldn't be taken away from them. We do ourselves a disservice if we continually tell ourselves, that the people are not good enough. Fanon will get to talk about the whole idea of trying to educate the people, to tell them that, if the country collapses, it collapses on everybody. No, it doesn't happen to one person. Dike made it clearer to us, a broken road does not understand Igbo. It will not maim the Fulani and let the rest of us go, because the accident it will cause will take all lives. For when a vehicle somersaults, it breaks all bones, my people. This poem goes a long way to tell us that if there's an accident on the road, as there have always been, it doesn't recognize tribe. It doesn't say, oh, this is an Igbo person, I don't want to harm an Igbo person. No, it harms everybody. It breaks all bones. It says, when you have been driven around in an ambulance from hospital to hospital in search of oxygen, northerner or southerner, you will die suffocating. There are no hospitals really functioning in Nigeria. My granddad was in the National Hospital in Abuja, and I can tell you for free, he didn't get the best of service. For somebody who worked to see to it that the NHIS come to fruition, that such a scheme, the National Health Insurance Scheme, come to bed and come to stay. He didn't get the benefits from the health sector. My father also passed on early this year. He also didn't get the best out of what can be gotten from the Nigerian healthcare system. Because what do you want to bestow? A Ministry of Health that bestows no health, Ministry of Transport that bestows no road and bestows no means and sense of transportation, a Minister of Finance that ordinarily seem to have been overwhelmed by the whole idea of the economy of the country, or a Ministry of Agriculture that almost doesn't really know what it's up to, a Ministry of Mineral Resources that still relies on billions of naira to get a geodata. Data has been a problem in the country. Data has been a problem in Nigeria. Data is what is going to kill us. Data is a thing that will kill us. We still don't have a sense of our own data. not from the telecom companies. We have different and confusing and conflicting data being registered so that you see to it that people get to be asked to come and register for their SIMs or get to link up their SIMs every now and then. We are people that have refused to grow. We are people that can grow, that can be better. We are not a bad people. We are not so corrupt. If we are that corrupt, it's because of the situation where we find ourselves. But we're not the people that actually living up to the potential of where they should be. The potentiality of Nigerians have not even been actualized in any Aristotelian sense or in any sense that ordinarily should be the case. We have a very, very long way to go up. The actuality of our existence and our reality at the moment still need to be upscaled. We have a great skill and a great chunk of potentiality to get to actualize that we at the moment are not really paying keen attention to. I think I want us, you and I, my brother and my sister, to really look at. I think I want all Nigerians to harness, hold leaders accountable. Don't participate in familiar corruption. Don't participate in aiding your brothers and sisters in public offices, your fathers, your mothers, your aunties, my aunties, my uncles, my brothers and sisters in public offices to get to see to it that Nigeria sinks to its knees, that Nigeria crumbles, that Nigeria indeed becomes a people we don't understand. Because we can understand ourselves, we are people not beyond redemption. We are people that can actually be redeemed. We are people that can indeed make progress. We are people indeed that should make progress. We are people indeed that should find peace within itself. We are people that should forge ahead. Pick up Nyerere's torch. That's a flickering torch of Africa's freedom, and raise it high, lift it up, and tell our politicians that it's enough. If you have low mentality, it's a disaster. If you are in office and you have minds in London, it's a problem. How many politicians and leaders, present and past, get to die in the country? From Ojuku to M. Timbu to Rose Oko to Senator Uba, God rest their soul. How many of them gets to die in Nigerian hospitals? Our last president didn't even die here. The president that left before the takeover of the current government we now have also spent a great chunk of time outside the country. They fall sick and they get to take leave and they get to be treated with amount of money that I cannot even say. Nigeria is in need of leaders. We need new names. We need new leaders. We need to see new people. How can Tinubu still be in government? How can the likes of El-Rufai still be talking about the things they get to talk about? Nigeria provokes the believer in me. Nigeria provokes the believer in me. And we must tell these people that indeed they are man-made gods. And we must speak to their faces and we must speak to them and tell them that their time is up. That their time is up. That they are all but man-made gods. Just like Dike Chukwumerije will have us believe. I think I believe so much.
Can you people help me ask this man? How does who he is affect the price of our gege bread? Give me light. No way. Give me water. No way. Give me education. No way. Give me health. No way. I've done the contract. Pay me my money. No way. And on top of that, you still want me to bow to you? Haba. Is it juju? Honestly, if we have all been sitting down in this room, if you are the reason this meeting did not start on time, we have all been here waiting for you to arrive. When you finally arrive, are you not supposed to arrive with begging? Please, I'm so sorry for keeping you all waiting. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Is that not how a human being is supposed to arrive? Instead, when you finally saunter in, 2.5 hours after the meeting was supposed to start, with your entourage, still, we're all supposed to rise majestically to our feet and begin to applaud because you call yourself a principality. On top of the poverty and unemployment your incompetence in office is inflicting on us, we're still supposed to carry your bag, open your gate, call you Oga, call you Madam. Haba. Is it juju? Rubbish and nonsense. See, this country provokes the believer in me. And I stand here to accuse all of us of idolatry. But the deities we worship in vain for protection and healing are not juju figures hidden in the floorboard and ceiling. Tell me, what do you call a ministry of health that has no hospitals? Or a minister of education that provides no schools? Or His Excellency the governor that cannot pay salaries? Or a powerful police force that catches no thieves? Tell me, what do you call a ministry of housing that bestows no housing? Or a ministry of works when nothing is working? Or a strong man whose people, though homeless and jobless, still come out each time to vote him en masse? See, this country provokes the believer in me. And I stand here to accuse us of idolatry. But the deities we worship in vain for protection and healing are not juju figures hidden in the floorboard and ceiling. Tell me, what do you call a people who sing the praises of leaders in a country of broken roads, no light, and armed robbers? Or a young man who gives his blood campaigning for a politician who will not even let him know when CBN is employing? When the road to the farm, to the home grows thinner, but the people in charge grow fresher and fatter, but the man oppressed is still first in line to welcome the oppressor when he rolls into town. See, this country provokes the believer in me, and I stand here to accuse us of idolatry. But the deities we worship in vain for protection and healing are not juju figures hidden in the floorboard and ceiling. No. We carry their bags. We open their gates. We swerve to one side so they pass on the roads. We call them Madam. We call them Oga. We fall to the ground and hail them Baba. We laugh at their jokes. We follow their drama. We quickly forgive them for no light and water. We transfer their funds. We carry their guns. Our idols are human. We know all their names. So, to the kings and queens of the garbage dump, to strong men of states without roads or hospitals, to leaders who flex while a nation is dying, I've come to announce me. I'm tired of kneeling. For a God of thunder that cannot thunder, and a ministry of power that gives no power, no matter how you may want me to phrase this, they both belong to the category of the useless, because them get eye, but them no they see. Them get ear, but them no they hear. Them get the hand, but them no they walk. Cha cha, see them mouth oh. Now so talk. Man-made gods, man-made gods, man-made gods. Man, I will never worship. Never worship. I beg, carry your own bag. Open your own gates. Why can't you fly economy? Why can't you join the queue like me? I will never worship. Never worship. I will never worship. See, I say this country provokes the believer in me. And I stand here to renounce this idolatry of bowing to empty ogas and madams who do not have eyes or ears to hear us, to fear. From today, I save my worship for those who work hard to ensure our women don't die in childbirth, to see that the gas in the ground finds its way to turbines that turn to bring power to our people's homes. I save my worship for those leaders who care that our children go to school and their teachers are there, that hospitals have drugs and our people have jobs. From today, I save my worship for those leaders who serve.
For Nigeria to work, for Africa to work, for the world to be stable again, everybody's hands must be on deck. For a world of peace, a world devoid of wars and problems. We have to look at the root cause of the problems we have in our world. Who are the people benefiting from crisis? Who are those benefiting from wars? Who are those benefiting from the problems that we find and see in our world? These are the people that we have to face. These are the people that we have to look squarely. We must fix things from their roots, not the symptoms, the real issues. The real issues are the things we ought to fix. The real issues are the things we ought to fix. And we must do that, or we labor in vain. We must try our very best to see to it that we come to understand our differences, come to understand ourselves as a people. And as Bob Marley will get to tell us, one love indeed. Is there a place for a helpless sinner and a hopeless sinner who has, offended mankind? Indeed, we can come together. We can have this sense of purpose. We can have this sense of community, this sense of togetherness that is lacking currently in our world to cure all forms of anxiety and to better the world. We shouldn't just be quiet. As many as are the persons and the people trying to seek for redemption, seek for progress in our world, we ought to support them. For as many persons out there seeking for purpose, seeking for understanding, seeking for peace, we must support them. For as many persons seeking for growth, seeking for opportunities to triumph and to make a mark for themselves, we must support them. For as many persons out there trying to see that the world becomes a better place, we must cheer them up. Dike Chukwumerije for me is one of those people. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is one of those people. A whole lot of people out there, Ken Saro-Wiwa gave up his life for this struggle. A whole lot of persons have gone down the road. Onyeka Onwenu is dead now. She's not lived to see to it that indeed Nigeria becomes better. I remember that popular documentary that made the rounds when she was wrapping up with her youth service and decided to stay back in the country and work in the media and entertainment industry. And she's blessed us with beautiful music, beautiful songs, beautiful things we get to talk about her. There's too much beauty in one soul. I've not seen it so much. Too much beauty in one person. Too much brains in one particular individual. To such as these persons, we pray that our country be blessed with their type. We can do it. You can do it. We can all become better people. We can all grow. We can all strive to become better. This is the only way we can do it. Amen. Biringkpa Obinameka, your brother, your friend, your countryman, your fellow human being, trying to churn out his own course, trying to, carve his own meaning and purpose out of life. Until we meet again, stay safe. Stay safe. Be a better human. Be a better person. Grow well. Grow strong. Be better in what you can do. These are many more. And my wish is for us that the world becomes a better place. That we all grow brighter in love, in unity, in purpose, in understanding, in kindness, in empathy, and all the good things we can think about as humans. Because outside of this, I don't see us making any headway. Outside of this, I don't see us as a people to be taken seriously. Because at the end, what is the purpose of life if we just walk through life without making the much needed effort, the much needed attention we have to give to ourselves and our lives and the purpose down here? What are we going to tell ourselves on our deathbed if we get to know? Than the fact that we tried to see to it that we heal the world, that we see to it that we better our lives and ourselves and our lives down here. These are many more. For me, are the dreams and aspirations I want to see. That indeed a new Nigeria is possible. That indeed a new Nigeria is going to emerge in our own lifetime. That indeed Africa would rise up to the task of leadership and forge a new sense of governance and a new sense of people and understanding that the world indeed comes to benefit on a very, very equal level with Africa. Not as a slave to a master, not as a boss to a servant, but as equals on a round table of conversation. And I believe peace is possible. The protests ordinarily should be peaceful, but I know they are going to try as much as possible to infiltrate the protesters with their talks. This is what we ought to expect. As many persons out there who wish well for this country, who wish well for Africa, who want to see the world grow and have peace and stability. My heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you, indeed. Let's try to see that we indeed heal the world. My name is Biringkpa Onyeka. See you next time.